the autumn of 1707, 4 warships carrying 2,000 souls vanished into the treacherous waters off the Scilly Isles, swallowed by fog and miscalculation. The disaster that claimed Admiral Sir Cloudesley Shovell's entire fleet would spark the greatest scientific challenge of the age. A £3 million prize in today's currency for solving navigation's most deadly mystery. The problem was longitude, as the east-west position at sea remained impossible to determine with the necessary accuracy. While latitude could be read from the stars, longitude demanded precise timekeeping, and no clock could survive the rolling, salt-soaked hell of an ocean voyage. Ships sailed blind across half the world, gambling with thousands of lives on educated guesswork and prayer. Parliament's Longitude Act of 1714 offered £20,000 to whoever could solve this maritime riddle, the largest scientific bounty ever announced. Astronomers, mathematicians, and natural philosophers rushed to claim glory, but the answer would come from an unlikely source. A village carpenter with calloused hands and revolutionary dreams of mechanical perfection. The early 18th century was Britain's golden age of exploration and empire, when merchant vessels carried fortunes in tea, silk, and spices across uncharted oceans. Yet for all their maritime mastery, British navigators remained prisoners of imprecise positioning. Every voyage was a calculated risk, every landfall a mixture of skill and divine providence in an era when maps ended in blank spaces. The Board of Longitude, established by Parliament to judge solutions, was dominated by Cambridge astronomers who believed celestial navigation held the only answer. Led by the brilliant but arrogant Naval masculine, they favored lunar observations, complex mathematical calculations that required years of training in clear skies. Any mechanical solution seemed impossible, given the violent motion and temperature extremes of sea voyages. For centuries, sailors had dreamed of a reliable sea clock that could maintain London time throughout any voyage, knowing the precise time difference between noon at their position and noon in London would instantly reveal their longitude. But pendulum clocks failed in rough seas, and spring-driven timepieces lost hours daily due to temperature changes, humidity, and the ship's constant motion. The human cost of navigational errors mounted with each trading season. Ships bound for the Indies missed their destinations by hundreds of miles, wandering for weeks until scurvy claimed their crews. Others struck unmarked reefs in supposedly safe waters, their cargo and lives lost to miscalculated positions. The Scilly disaster was merely the most dramatic of countless maritime tragedies. In rural Yorkshire, John Harrison was perfecting an entirely different approach to precision timekeeping. The son of a carpenter, Harrison had taught himself clockmaking and developed revolutionary techniques for compensating temperature variations. His wooden clocks kept extraordinary time, but the scientific establishment dismissed him as an uneducated provincial craftsman with impossible ambitions for maritime chronometry. Harrison's first marine timekeeper, H1, took 5 years to complete and weighed 75 pounds of brass and steel. Unlike traditional clocks, it used no pendulum, but instead relied on a complex system of balances and springs designed to compensate for a ship's motion. The Board of Longitude reluctantly agreed to test this mechanical marvel, though they remained skeptical of any solution not based on astronomical observation. H1's first trial voyage to Lisbon in 1736 proved promising but imperfect, losing time as Harrison had feared. Undeterred, he spent the next 20 years perfecting his design, creating H2 and H3, each iteration smaller, more precise, and more resilient to maritime conditions. The board provided modest funding, but grew increasingly impatient with his perfectionist approach and lengthy development timeline. By 1759, Harrison had completed his masterpiece, H4, a large pocket watch that abandoned his previous designs for elegant simplicity. Weighing only 3 pounds and measuring 5 inches across, it incorporated revolutionary temperature compensation and a revolutionary escapement mechanism. The 66-year-old craftsman staked everything on this final attempt to prove mechanical timekeeping superior to astronomical navigation methods. H4's crucial test came aboard HMS Deptford, sailing to Jamaica in 1761. Harrison's son William accompanied the precious timekeeper, monitoring its performance throughout the demanding Atlantic crossing. For 81 days, the chronometer endured tropical heat, fierce storms, and constant motion while maintaining its steady mechanical heartbeat, the sound of precision incarnate. Upon reaching Jamaica, H4 had lost only 5 seconds, an achievement so extraordinary that the Port Royal astronomer initially refused to believe the calculations. This level of accuracy far exceeded the longitude requirements, proving that Harrison's mechanical solution had finally conquered the ocean's timekeeping challenge. The carpenter's son had achieved what Cambridge's finest mathematicians had deemed impossible. The Board of Longitude, however, remained unconvinced and demanded further trials. Led by Naval, who had invested his reputation in lunar navigation methods, they questioned H4's performance and insisted on additional testing. The board's skepticism reflected both scientific caution and professional jealousy. Accepting Harrison's solution would render years of their astronomical research obsolete. Harrison's second trial to Barbados in 1764 proved even more successful, but the board shifted the goalposts, demanding that other craftsmen reproduce his design before awarding the full prize. They argued that a unique prototype, however accurate, could not constitute a practical solution to navigation. Harrison realized that scientific politics, not scientific merit, would determine his chronometer's fate. For over a decade, Harrison battled the board's bureaucratic resistance while perfecting additional chronometers to meet their evolving demands. The elderly craftsman, now in his 70s, had devoted nearly half his life to solving longitude, sacrificing wealth and health for the pursuit of mechanical perfection. The promised prize remained tantalizingly close, yet politically distant. In 1772, King George III personally intervened in Harrison's favor, testing H4 at his private observatory where it performed flawlessly over 10 weeks. The monarch, himself interested in science and craftsmanship, recognized the injustice of the board's treatment and demanded Harrison receive proper recognition. Royal authority finally overcame academic prejudice and bureaucratic obstruction. Parliament awarded Harrison £8,500 in 1773, acknowledging his revolutionary achievement while stopping short of the full longitude prize. Though not the complete recognition he deserved, this sum represented official validation of his mechanical breakthrough. At age 80, the village carpenter had fundamentally transformed maritime navigation through sheer persistence and genius. Harrison's chronometers had arrived too late to save the thousands already lost to navigational errors, but they promised safer voyages for future generations. His precise timekeeping would enable accurate charts of previously unknown coastlines and transform global trade routes. The longitude problem, maritime navigation's greatest challenge, had finally yielded to mechanical ingenuity. The impact of reliable longitude determination rippled across every aspect of maritime endeavor. Naval battles could be fought with strategic precision, merchant vessels could maintain schedules across vast oceans, and explorers could chart unknown territories with unprecedented accuracy. Harrison's mechanical breakthrough had effectively shrunk the world by making its measurement possible. Today, Harrison's chronometers are revered as masterpieces of precision engineering, their influence extending far beyond maritime navigation. His temperature compensation techniques, escapement designs, and mechanical innovations became foundations for modern clockmaking. And the Carpenter's son had not merely solved longitude, he had revolutionized the measurement of time itself across every subsequent generation. Harrison's story embodies the triumph of practical innovation over institutional authority, proving that revolutionary breakthroughs often emerge from unexpected sources. His 4-decade struggle against academic prejudice demonstrated that genius requires not only technical brilliance, but also extraordinary persistence. The longitude problem had demanded both mechanical perfection and unwavering determination. The human cost of the longitude problem, thousands of sailors lost to navigational errors, makes Harrison's achievement profoundly meaningful. His chronometers represented more than scientific advancement. They were instruments of salvation that would prevent future maritime disasters. Every accurate landfall thereafter honored those who had perished in longitude's treacherous uncertainty. From Harrison's brass gears to today's GPS satellites, humanity's quest for precise positioning continues across new frontiers. The longitude problem taught us that the greatest challenges yield not to conventional wisdom, but to innovative thinking and relentless persistence. In solving time, Harrison had conquered space itself, leaving a legacy measured in lives saved and horizons expanded.